If you'd all like to be seated now. As I said before, welcome to the DSS, and I would formally like to welcome Her Excellency Professor the Honourable Kate Warner, AM Governor of Tasmania, and Mr Warner. The Honourable Elise Archer, MP Speaker for Tasmanian House of Representatives, the Deputy Lord Mayor Ron Christie, life members of the Derwent Sailing Squadron, Mr Ron Bugg, President of the Yachting Australia, Tasmania, Commodore Steve Chow, Dr Steve Chow, Flag Officer and General Committee of the Squadron, the Chairman of the Committee, the Marina Committee, or Subcommittee, Mr Roy Barkas, Commodore Matthew Johnson and Flag Officer from the RYCT, Commodore Graham Mansfield and Flag Officers from the Bellerive Yacht Club, Commodore Angus Sprout from the Sandy Bay Sailing Club, and Commodore John Hebenick from the Motor Yacht Club of Tasmania, Headmaster Warwick Dean from the Hutchins School, General Manager of Lyndon Adams from West Point, Michael Goss, Joseph McCulloch, our partners from the Commonwealth Bank, Squadron members and friends of the Derwent Squadron, and of course our neighbours are also our friends. What a magnificent day. We had some dolphins in the bay last night. I was hoping they'd turn up about now, but no. It's just been wonderful, and it's lovely to see all these faces here. Thank you for coming. I would like to hand the microphone over to Her Excellency for a speech. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for inviting Dick and me here this afternoon to unveil the Roy Barkas Marina extension for the Derwent Sailing Squadron. So insofar as this is a very significant structural development, I thought I would see how far the DSS has grown in the past. And I have to say that I've been quite fascinated with your history and how it reveals that there have been a number of pivotal episodes in the life of the DSS, and of which this is clearly one, which makes, I think, today a very special occasion. It's common knowledge, I think, that the origin of the club can be traced back to meetings of the Domain Sailing Squadron that were held in 1906 on board the hulk of the decommissioned Derwent Hunter, which was at that time berthed off the Domain in a position near the present Marine Board slipway and Government House. Not long after this, the name Domain Sailing Squadron was changed to the Derwent Sailing Squadron. The Derwent Hunter, though, was destroyed by fire on Christmas Day 1907. A blaze had started on the SS Beautiful Star, which was moored alongside, and this spread to the woodwork of the old whaler and burnt her to the waterline. So with that, the DSS lost its club rooms, and it was to be another 50 years before it found another permanent home. So in 1953, the Mercury reported on the building of your first clubhouse as follows: the new building will be 40 feet by 20 feet, built over the water next to Cheverton's jetty, which the squadron had leased at that stage. The Commodore, Mr. D. McKean, said that owing to the cost of the new building, combined with the increased expenditure and the recent drive against raffles, the squadron was forced to increase membership subscription from 17 and 6 to a guinea. And then, in 1965, the nucleus of the present clubhouse was erected, and it was opened by the Governor, Sir Charles Gardner, followed by the opening of a new slipway, jetty and ramp in the same year. And then the Graham Blackwood Marina was opened in 1985 with 102 berths. So fast forward to last year, Saturday the 19th of June 2015, when you celebrated the 50th anniversary of that 1965 opening with a big birthday bash on Friday the 19th of June. And now you have reached another tremendous milestone with the grand opening of the Roy Barkas Marina extension. I understand that its genesis dates back to 2010, with the formation of a Marina Development Subcommittee chaired by club member Roy Barkas. Roy's initiative, drive and enthusiasm have been instrumental in this extension, and it's entirely fitting that the decision has been made to name it in his honour. So congratulations, Roy. Construction of the new floating marina began in April 2015, and the first boat entered the marina in October. So this new marina has added some 135 marina berths to push your total to 270. I have to say that I love our new berth in the floating Roy Barkas Marina. Dick's boat, the Stargazer, happens to have a very uneven and wobbly plank, which is extremely hazardous for embarking and disembarking, particularly in high tide when you wobble upwards and low tide when you wobble downwards. Marianne, my sister-in-law, and I had suggested that perhaps we could have one of those rather fancy little gangplanks with, you know, a rail. But this wasn't to be, and so I had to resort to crawling up the plank or crawling down the plank, always afraid of the indignity of falling in. Anyway, now we have the floating marina, and so my worries are over and we can just step onto the boat, which is quite amazing. So the total cost of the Roy Barkas Marina extension was $6.9 million. That's a really big financial commitment, and one which will now secure the financial future of the club. I know that Commodore Steve Chow will go into some details about that, and also about the wonderful construction work and overall capacity of the Tasmanian firms involved, as well as the support too of the Hobart City Council. So now I think it remains for me to formally unveil the plaque, and I do this with great pleasure.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency and Commodore Chow. I would like for you now to be seated, Your Excellency, and invite Steve to the lectern for his speech.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It's such a glorious afternoon, and I really do welcome warmly all our life members, special guests, fellow flag officers from Hobart clubs, and friends of the Squadron. Today marks a historic point in the Squadron's history with the official opening of the Roy Barkas Marina extension. This extension utilises the globally recognised marina system supplied by Bellingham Marine and was constructed for the current use of our existing members and future members of the Squadron. The extension was built not to squeeze as many marina pens into the lease footprint as possible, but to provide spacious access and spacious accommodation for members' boats. It includes many unique innovations. We've future-proofed the development so we can, in the future, expand many of the pens to accommodate larger vessels. We have also adopted new construction techniques, reducing the general wear and tear of the facility in the high-energy marine environment. There are many other elements, too numerous to list, that include those innovations. The result is a wonderful open facility that we see today, which in all respects exceeds recognised standards. We have expansive fairways, wide pens, deep drafts. Nothing has been spared for the ease of our members' use. The whole Graham Blackwood Marina complex now boasts a capacity of 270 marina berths, the largest in Tasmania and comparable in most of Australia. We can accommodate vessels from 6 metres in length up to a huge 30 metres of length. We can, if needed, accommodate maxi racing yachts, super yachts, with a number of dedicated berths with appropriate service supply. As of today, you will see the extension is now 60% filled and far exceeding our conservative expectations. Our fixed pile marina, at the same time, has remained fully utilised. We are excited that this very week that a long-time member to the Squadron has adopted one of our first 30-metre berths. We are very proud of this development. It was pursued and constructed in partnership, almost entirely utilising fine Tasmanian firms. This is an accolade of the capacity and technical expertise of the Tasmanian firms to facilitate such difficult projects. On behalf of the Squadron, I'd like to recognise these firms, but not before acknowledging the fantastic support of the Hobart City Council, represented here today by our Deputy Lord Mayor, Ron Christie. The guidance provided by the Planning Development team at the HCC allowed us to address issues before they became issues. Their stewardship allowed us to modify plans to accommodate the needs of all stakeholders. We congratulate and thank the Hobart City Council for their guidance. It has allowed us to inject our monetary investment of around $6.9 million, largely into the Tasmanian economy. Thanks so much, Ron. Marine and Safety Tasmania, under the leadership of Leah Morris, is another remarkable organisation, and we as a community are indeed fortunate to have such dedicated people such as Peter Hopkins and his team looking after the interests of recreational boating. Their support for our project was significant, and we dearly, sincerely thank them. Crown Land Services. The first meeting with the Crown Land Services in respect to our development was in 2003. It was a long discussion 12 years ago, but the outcome has been appropriate. Many thanks to our Crown Land Project Manager, Catherine Clark. Her patience and guidance has been second to none. The Commonwealth Bank, our bankers, represented here today by Michael Goss and Joe McCulloch. They have partnered with us in ensuring that the structuring of our loan facilities meets the development at hand and the Squadron finances. The importance and belief and support of the project should not be underestimated. Thanks so much, Michael and Joe. As previously mentioned, critical to the success of the project were the input of Tasmanian firms and individuals. On behalf of the Squadron, I'd like to thank, in particular, James Burberry Engineering Consultants, represented here today by Pat Burke. This organisation partnered with us through the entirety of the project, developing and providing engineering guidance, design and project execution. There is no better marine engineering firm in Australia. Another perspective in Hobart, who also provided our visual impact report, Hall, Fisher and Associates, providing our traffic management report, Marine Solutions, our very own member Sam Ibbott and his team providing an ecological report. Fraser Reid, who guided the development through the planning, development phase of the report, and Guy Abel, our solicitor, whose pragmatic approach ensured that everything legal was more than above water. The precasters from Electrona cast our wave panels, the massive things they are, and the wave war headstocks. Tas Marine Constructions, led by Tom Wilcox and his team, were instrumental in making the project execution work. They built it all. They drove hundreds of piles out there. They put together the wave walls, assembled the marina. Innovative Electrical, represented here by Brendan Dwyer, have provided all our electrical reticulation services from planning to execution and was our conduit between Tas Networks and the project. Professional Plumbing, represented here today by Paul Bottomley. They similarly provided all our water reticulation services and was our conduit between Tas Waters and the project. Thank you all. The efforts of our past generation of the Squadron provided such a solid foundation for the future of the club. You have provided the basis of our amazing club culture. I extend many thanks to the life members and long-term members that have supported this project. The club is very fortunate to have a rich depth of talent, technical expertise and motivated members who have significantly contributed to the project. Without them, none of this could or would have happened. We are internally thankful for the contributions of each, but specifically, past Commodore Peter Jeeves became the Commodore of the Squadron 9 years ago. Under his leadership, the Squadron gained belief that a Marina expansion was possible. And under his direction, the Squadron commenced a strategic approach to this Marina development. We began a process of investing in new infrastructure to support member services once we expanded our Graham Blackwood Marina complex. You'll see the floating ramp behind us, also refurbishments to the clubhouse. Commodore Jeeves formed the inaugural Marina Development Subcommittee. Most importantly, he and his team underpinned the finances of the Squadron, eliminating any remaining residual debt and funding capital works through internal operating cash flows. Truly remarkable. Under the leadership of the immediate past Commodore Ron Bugg and his General Committee, the Squadron consolidated and continued to develop the development thrust and strategic focus. During his tenure, the project became tangibly real. Planning approvals gained, contracts executed. I was fortunate and I was honoured with the position of Commodore of the Squadron, that much of the heavy lifting had been done, and my General Committee and subcommittees have been able to guide the project to a seamless execution. Notably, Paul Bottomley, the inaugural chairman of the Marina Development Subcommittee, Paul's internal contribution to the development is significant. He chaired the group for 12 months, but has remained a constant on the subcommittee since its formation. Paul has been our go-to man throughout the project. He gets things done, and he continues to do so. Anthony Ellis, our current treasurer, he has also sat on the Marina Development Subcommittee since its inception. He has provided business insight and unparalleled due diligence, ensuring the financial future of the Squadron. I also like to wish and recognise the internal contributions of Greg Ford, our past treasurer, Lyle Belays, our current cruising vice commodore, both of whom provided strategic financial guidance towards the project. Rose Flynn, our marketing guru, and Rob Nolan for his planning insights. David Brown for his advice on contractual matters. I'd like to thank personally my fellow General Committee members, past and present. They asked the hard but right questions and scrutinised the proposals, ensuring the outcome was best for our members. They ultimately agreed to give approval to start this project, which has transformed the club's marina into the state's most technically advanced. At 270 berths, is also Tasmania's largest. Our staff, under the leadership of Sean Tiedemann, our Secretary Manager, has been instrumental to the Squadron's success. The Squadron is very fortunate to have such a dedicated team providing the engine room for implementing the Squadron's strategic direction. They work above and beyond the call of duty in a challenging environment. We see this daily. On behalf of all members, I extend our sincere appreciation to Abelina Whalen, our Administrative Supervisor, Mike Denny, our Marine Manager, Carl Waterworth, our Marine Facilities Officer, Claire Goodfellow, Claire, our Sailtrain Administrator, Claire, Scott, Kate, Tracy, Bella, Karen, and many others in the house staff. Thanks, guys. Of course, there is one contribution I have not touched on, that of our current chairman of the Marina Development Subcommittee, Roy Barkas. Roy assumed the chairmanship of the subcommittee some 6 years ago. His leadership, love of the Squadron, strategic planning, management skills, belief in the project and pure tenacity has made this project happen. His dedication to the project, ensuring that it was done right in all respects, has underpinned the project's success. I'm sure Diane would agree. Roy may have well set up resident at the Squadron, such was his time commitment. Sincerely, thanks so much, Roy. Your guidance and stewardship on this project is now a reality. You should rightfully be proud of this occasion. We certainly are, and on behalf of the members, congratulate and thank you for this world-class facility. In conclusion, this is the most significant capital project ever undertaken by the Squadron. But I'm sure each of you agree the result is absolutely outstanding. I thank each and every one of you in the crowd for your support in this project. The club looks forward to filling the Marina extension with vessels, as it will underpin the very future of the club in generations to come. I thank you today for attending this official opening. I do hope you spend some time to get acquainted with our world-class Marina extension. Thank you.
Thank you, Commodore Chow. Those fantastic words. At this point, I would really like to propose 3 cheers for Roy Barkas. Hip! Hooray! Hip! Hooray! Hip! Hooray! Thank you, Roy. A wonderful job. I'd like now for the official party, along with Her Excellency, to take a short walk to view our beautiful marina.